Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 314 of the HP podcast. I'm Ben. With me today are two of the most beautiful men. I mean, the handsome boys. However we do this around here, the ghosties. So we should start calling ourselves the ghosties.
I like it.
I hope we never do that.
That'd be so cute.
Brandon, hello. Greetings.
What's up, dude?
Hey, how's your computer doing this week?
Hard to say.
You haven't black screened or blue screened yet.
So far so good. I let it run for a little bit this time. I think last week I booted it and then like moments later was doing shit on it.
That's literally not how computers work. It should be fine.
Hey, listen. I'm just telling you what I did this week to let her warm up a little bit to get the fans spinning.
Yeah.
I kind of gave it the beans. Maybe I should have like ran Cyberpunk on like the highest settings I possibly could to kind of make it think that what I'm doing right now was less of a struggle to kind of whip it into shape prior to the show. I'll report back next week after I do that.
Two things. One, I know your computer isn't like top of the line or anything, but it's not old. Like you have a good computer by the stats.
It's a stat. No, dude. A bag of shit is what it is anymore. Bag of shit.
Tell that to Dave, who's running like a 980 or something over there. 960.
Sack of shit.
1070.
I'll sell it to you for $1,500. I'm just kidding.
Also, the second thing, Brandon, you said you gave it the beans. You ever see that video where the guy asked the tech to come over and he's like, there's something wrong with my computer. He's like, there's literally beans in here.
Dude, I saw another one where a dude filled his gas tank with beans.
Oh.
I think that's probably the same guy. They're like sawing it open and beans are pouring out. They're like, there's literally beans in here. That's the kind of pranks I like. I think that same guy like filled his home with grass and then had like landscapers come over and mow inside of his home. That's the kind of shit I can get behind. Some of this mean-spirited shit is not funny. It's cruel. That's what I like. That's the shit I do like.
Like, hey guys, we're pulling a prank. We made him think his wife, his children, and his extended family have been murdered. Isn't it funny? It's like,
let's get his reaction live to his mother being diagnosed with cancer.
Dave, hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
How you doing? How was your trip?
The trip was good. Not terribly relaxing because I have children who want to run all the time, which is fine. That's what vacations are for them, because they have such hard lives otherwise. But it was good. It was good. The only bad thing is I was sick until like a few days before I left, and then like my ear was messed up and my voice still hadn't come back, and then like I got on the plane, I flew south. I felt fine. Anytime I'm not in Western Pennsylvania, I feel great. And legitimately, like, I've been to California. I've been to all over the... I've been all over the country. I've been to other countries. Western Pennsylvania, I feel the worst when I am here. Absolutely, hands down. I got on the plane to come home, and I started feeling badly. And the last 2 days... No, I've only been home 1.5 days. I've been sick since I stepped through my door. And like yesterday, it was to the point where I couldn't talk because my throat was so raw from coughing.
You had your house checked for mold there, buddy?
It's if I know, but I would have to have checked every house I've lived in for the last 26 years. No, 28 years, something like that. So,
hey, listen,
it's Western Pennsylvania.
Western PA ain't no Ohio. I get it. It ain't no Ohio.
I was too young to be sick there when I lived there. You don't get sick when you're under 5 years old. Everybody knows that, right, Dave?
Is that true? Okay.
Yeah.
Look at Dave. He's like, I fucking wish, man. Jesus Christ.
But seriously, I mean, it took me a few years to piece it together, but anytime I'm not here, I feel better, which is crazy because I live here and I don't have to. I work remotely. I've been my own boss since 2016 until now, which I'll talk about that probably next week. But
That's a good point. What about Philly?
Actually, yeah, I felt fine in Philly.
Wow, there we go.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Moly, Pennsylvania.
Too much of a steel presence in this area for you.
I think it's the lack of sun.
Yeah.
Are there certain zip codes you're fine in? Probably, but I haven't figured them out yet.
We'll report back.
I think within 2 hours of Pittsburgh, I feel poorly. It's the steel that's getting to me.
It can't be the sun, dude. Dude, there's no way of 2 days of less sun that you felt bad, right? We need to get you a lamp. You know,
2 days of less sun.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
You're saying there's less sun in Western PA, which I'm not disagreeing with.
Oh, I'm just talking about the normal state. Me being sick after I got back from a trip where I was around thousands of people probably was the reason. You know,
you make a fair point.
Yeah, I'm not saying that coming coming back at midnight in the dark off the plane made me sick. I'm saying
it's like the second I step foot in this godforsaken part of the fucking USA, my
but
throat starts hurting.
Genuinely, I've been to other countries, I've been to other continents, I've been all across this country, and everywhere else I go, I literally get off the plane and feel so much better immediately.
You should move, maybe, Ben.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Damn, dude.
I don't know why I do this. We need to start mapping this and start narrowing this down.
You know, like when they put like a tracker on like a seagull.
Yeah.
And we'll do that with Ben.
Dude, we'll put a GoPro on his head.
Yeah. How you feeling, buddy?
Brandon, do you remember when we went to San Diego in September?
Yeah.
I felt bad before we went, and I felt bad when we got back, but I felt great while we were there. And I'm not very susceptible to like them. Like, you're like, oh, let's go out to. I don't need the sun. Like, I don't need to go sunbathe. I don't need the. Like, the weather doesn't really affect me because I don't go outside. Like, as far as like my mentality, like it doesn't matter if it's nice or rainy. I'm probably still not going outside for fun, just for necessity. But I really do think like there's some allergen here in this part of the country, this specific part of this state that just does not get along with me.
We're tapping into something though. Okay, so when you leave your home, you feel better.
No. When I leave this part of the country.
You said 2 hours from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
This is a mystery, I think.
San Diego was great though. I felt really good the whole time, except for when I drank too much and kind of
I was
marred.
gonna say you whined an awful lot for feeling great.
If you know anything about me, I'm a miserable person to be around. I know I seem super fun and very lovable on the podcast, but I am truly a black cloud on everyone I talk to. And
I'll agree with
around.
that.
So,
yeah.
But no, San Diego was beautiful, man. San Diego was beautiful. Just don't drink too much at the arcade bar that only serves hot dogs and finger food. So
Everywhere else is fine though, right?
everywhere else,
Yeah, you didn't drink too much anywhere else.
no, dude, I never do that.
Yeah.
Never been known to do that.
Yeah.
Too much is kind of a subjective thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an unusual amount of weebery in Western PA? That's a good question.
In a couple miles from his home, potentially.
In his home?
Not in my home.
In his home?
Not in my home. Within a mile of my house, there is someone who owns a car that has One Piece stickered on it, like a wrap.
Dustin?
No, they live like half a block from Dustin, and he won't speak to them. He's afraid of them. I'm like, you guys like the only thing that defines your personality. You both like clearly, and you won't talk to them. Whatever.
Can I ask a question about that? It's sort of related, unrelated, but I meant to bring it up last week. So when I encounter someone who says they play video games, but then when I ask a couple questions, they're like, I realize they just play Call of Duty or FIFA. I know how that conversation is going to go. It's different. And then when I talk to somebody who says they're into D&D, I kind of know what that person's going to be like. And it's similar to like when you meet someone who likes One Piece, like you kind of know what direction that conversation is going in. But I've met people a couple of times who only play RuneScape, and I don't know how to approach these people. What are RuneScape? Are they weird? Are they cool? Are they should I avoid them?
I think they're just pure. I actually know. I graduated with someone like this. Right. He never stopped playing it, ever. He has thousands and thousands of hours. I think it's just pure nostalgia bait. Like they're not entranced with video games. They're entranced with the feeling they had when they played the game, and they never want that to go away.
See, that's a little different because you said when you graduated with them. RuneScape is a 25-year-old game at this point. Now, granted, you graduated, what, 2010-ish, right?
Yeah, so
Somewhere
it's
in there.
10 years ago. I didn't say they started playing when they graduated.
I
They've
know,
been
but what
playing
I'm
it
saying
since-
is they've been in that state of mind since it came out, probably. So that's not just nostalgia for them.
We're digging into something real deep here today, boys. This is uncharted territories. Moreover, stay away from those people at all costs. Unless you're tasking them with fixing your automobile, there's nothing else that they're going to be good at.
Right. Okay.
Dave, here's the thing you need to do, because I think there's another deeper layer to RuneScape players. First of all, there could be somebody who only plays RuneScape, and maybe, that could run a gambit. They're all going to be on like the bottom dredges of society, but there's still layers within that.
Okay.
If you ask them the clarifying question, you can ask them. Now, some of these people you may still be able to be friends with and talk to, but if you ask them, do you mod RuneScape, and they say yes, they are in that bottom half, maybe even bottom third of the bottom of society. The bottom layer, the bottom third of society. That's where modding RuneScapers come in. Anybody who mods, just walk away. Anything above that, you can choose whether or not to be friends with them. If they don't play RuneScape exclusively, but they play it maybe from time to time, or they used to play it, they're probably fine.
Right.
By the way, I have no idea if RuneScape has mods. I just know that if it does, the people who mod RuneScape should be avoided at all costs.
I'm laughing because I work with a guy who plays RuneScape,
Yeah.
and I'm just going back and forth in my head if I'm going to tell him to listen to this episode or not.
Do you hate him?
Yeah, I would.
You hate him?
I would not.
I don't know. I don't know him that well because he says he plays RuneScape, so I never know if I should be friends with him or not. But
Okay, just cut out this portion. Let him hear all the things that we've said, including what I said.
okay.
And if he gets offended, he's not your friend. If he laughs and thinks
If
it's
he
funny,
gets
and
offended, we know he mods RuneScape. Then.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. I played RuneScape like very casually in high school when I should have been doing other work because it was like installed on one of the servers on our network, and the IT people weren't smarter than the students, and we all knew how to access like all the stuff on the different network parts. So we would install games in like a random computer lab on like the computer that nobody ever used because it was the weird seat. You had to be there. And we would install games there, and then we could access them from other computers because they were on the network and download them to that computer. And they would always get mad and then just delete them off that computer, and we just went and re-downloaded them from somewhere else. So that was when all your games could fit on a floppy disk. So
Yeah.
Well, this is the HP podcast. We talk about video games and RuneScape weirdos from time to time. You can hang out with us if you'd like to over at Discord, on Discord. handsomephantom.com/Discord. We appreciate having you there from time to time. Sometimes you're annoying, but we like you most of the time. You can also support us on Patreon where you're never annoying. Patreon.com/handsomephantom. You can help us out by supporting us for as little as $1 a month. You can support us more than that if you want to. We wouldn't object. But all we ask for, if you want to support us on Patreon, is $1 a month. 25-ish cents an episode. We appreciate those of you who are there already as well. Should we talk about some video games?
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure we should, because RuneScape still exists. It needs to be dealt with. Actually, I should play RuneScape. Like, I should just download it. Isn't there like an old school RuneScape? Like that's a separate thing now.
I think so. Yeah.
Like, do people still play vanilla RuneScape, and then there's also old school RuneScape? And I don't know. Too much. Bioware has lost half of its staff. That's the whole story. Sorry, guys. This comes from PC Gamer. It says, Bioware has reportedly lost at least half its staff with fewer than 100 people left, and the studio a ghost of its former self. Bloomberg reports, following EA's layoffs and restructuring at Bioware, the studio has fewer than 100 employees, down from more than 200 during the age of Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Meanwhile, at its peak, Bioware consisted of 3 studios, conservatively over 400 employees. Bloomberg sources say that the plan to loan Bioware developers to other EA studios, while the next Mass Effect was in pre-production, was put in place shortly after the Veilguard launched, but before its sales failure came to light. Regardless of the Veilguard's ultimate performance, former Bioware producer Mark Dara's prediction that the studio had become a one-game-at-a-time outfit was on the money, and many devs would have nothing to work on before Mass Effect entered full production. Those relocations were made permanent following the news of Veilguard missing its sales target by 50%, with an additional 20-plus full layoffs on top of that. According to Bloomberg, Bioware's staff is now down to fewer than 100 people. During the development of Veilguard, the studio had over 200 employees, but we can go further back to better understand the full scope of Bioware's decline in the past decade. And it starts off 2019, had 320 employees. There were between 80 and 150 employees back in 2014 working on Shadow Realm. In 2010, they only had 55 people, but there were 300 people credited on 2017's Andromeda, et cetera, et cetera. So they've gutted the place. People all over. What do you guys make of this? Dave?
Put it in perspective, 130 people worked on Mass Effect 1 and 150 people worked on Mass Effect 2, according to a quick Google search. So 100 people, or it says less than 100 people.
Yeah.
So I assume that's close to 100 people. When Mass Effect is still in pre-production, I kind of see this as an okay thing. Obviously, people losing their jobs sucks, but you know, as Mass Effect moves into full production, we assume that they're going to bring more people on board, and maybe with a team size that resembles the size of the team that was working on the original trilogy might be a good thing. So I don't know. When it mentioned how Mark Dara was talking about BioWare is going to be a one game studio, I think most of the studios that we know and love have all done their best work when they were focusing on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear that this might be the case for BioWare is a good thing. I don't have super high hopes for the next Mass Effect, but we'll always have the original trilogy, so that's there. This also kind of leads into a bigger question in my mind, which is why so many AAA games are just failing these days. And obviously there's the games that are just objectively bad, but I don't know that like Veilguard was objectively bad. I think about another game from last year, which I think was Rebirth, which very popular game, seemed to be a very good game, an objectively good game, but from a sales standpoint, missed targets. Now, Square Enix's targets could have been too high, too ambitious. Same with what BioWare's could have been. But I do suspect that given the way things have gone over the past 2 years, they probably weren't that ambitious. So I'm just kind of looking at the landscape, and I'm looking at free-to-play games and games as a service model and subscription services and the skyrocketing costs of AAA development and games that really should be sure sales successes failing, and I'm wondering where our industry is really going. So yeah, I don't know. I really kind of scratched my head with Veilguard. Obviously there was a lot of shit surrounding it when it launched, and I don't want to get into that, but one of the things I was reminded of was that I don't know, Dragon Age was kind of the niche of BioWare's catalog, and it certainly seemed like it was trying to be a much more mainstream game when it launched late last year. But yeah, I don't know. I get a little bit worried about where the industry is going and what free-to-play and games as a service has actually done. So yeah, I'll stop there, but I don't know.
Brendan?
Yeah, I mean, Veilguard obviously underperformed. I think that they were kind of hoping for a return of the series and to kind of push it into the mainstream, as Dave said. I think that these studios, much like EA, are getting a little bit too big for the success that they're not having. So I think that in order for companies to stay resilient, to stay profitable, to ultimately make a good product, you got to cut the fat, unfortunately. And this is really what we've been seeing in the industry for a while now. So I don't think that the amount of employees that they're working with is bad, but I wonder how much good talent has been lost. I would hope they would have kept the best of the best. But then again, the stuff they've put out recently hasn't really been much to scoff at, to take note of. So I don't know. It does suck. Ultimately, we hate talking about people losing their jobs, but if it means that BioWare can continue to live on, and in the hopes of making another good Mass Effect, then I guess that's what it's going to have to be. So, yeah, man, it sucks. It sucks because I wanted Veilguard to be good. I wanted this to be the game that I broke into the series for, and I know how much this studio means to so many people. I just have always missed the buck with this studio. I played Andromeda. That was my first BioWare game, and I came in at a bad time. So,
Yeah, but you liked it, Andromeda.
I thought the gameplay of Andromeda was fine, and I think that was my favorite part. But it didn't catch me.
Yeah.
It really didn't. So I fell off pretty quick with that. So, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see this a lot with these studios that keep failing. Is they're gonna get smaller and smaller, and that's the only way they can survive is to refocus. Unfortunately, and that means losing people, and potentially very talented people. So for their sake and for the studio's sake and for the IP's sake, I'm hoping that there is still enough good talent that has potentially worked on things that have been successful before, so that way they can kind of use those skills to kind of push the IP in the right direction. I'm thinking they're wanting to run pretty lean right now, and a lot of places are doing that. So this really doesn't come as a surprise to me.
When you talk about Dragon Age Veilguard specifically, I don't know about the entire. I mean, I have some ideas, but the entire AAA industry right now kind of collapsing under its own weight. That's a different conversation. But Veilguard specifically, they leaned into it being a Dragon Age game, obviously because of the name appeal, the name recognition, getting people who played the other games, and really, it's still an RPG and it had some ties story wise and everything, but the biggest pieces of the discussion around the game really had nothing to do with the original Dragon Age series, the previous games. So I think that hurt it. They leaned into the nostalgia to sell the game, but in the actual game, it didn't lean into the nostalgia as much as I think it probably could have with some of the... I didn't play it, so I'm speaking what I've heard and seen from others. But people I know who have played it and were able to look past that said it was a fine game. Like, there was nothing... It wasn't a bad game at all. It just wasn't what they wanted from a Dragon Age game, with both art style and story and everything. So, but yeah, it does suck. It seems like some of these people are going to be working on other projects with other studios, but of course, many of them probably are looking for work right now. And I can tell you firsthand, that's a hard time to look for work in the games industry. There's a lot of people looking for work right now in the games industry. So best of luck to all them as they get on their feet. And yeah, I'd love for the next BioWare project to be amazing. And I think it can be, but I think we have to stop thinking of BioWare as the BioWare that we used to know, because it can't be at this point, right? Like, there's got to be some people still there probably, but I've used this now a couple episodes in a row, but it's kind of reminds me of the people who made Hi-Fi Rush.
Tango.
This what I was talking about with them. Granted, I think there's still plenty of them still there, but very much like a Ship of Theseus situation where, yeah, it's the same studio, but is the heart still there? It's a new audience, it's a new developers probably for a large part, and a new audience. How long ago did the first Mass Effect come out, or the first Dragon Age? I mean, what year was that?
2009, 2008.
Looks like Dragon Age
7?
2009. Dragon Age Origins 2009. Yeah. So, 15 years. It's a long time for anybody to stay at one company, but it obviously happens. Edward says 2014. Edward, you're wrong. I'm just messing with you. You are wrong, but it's fine. All right, let's move on to the next one. I don't even know if this is a story worth talking about, but we're going to talk about it anyway because I wanted to. A popular Bloodborne frame rate mod, this is from The Verge, by the way, a popular Bloodborne frame rate mod is no longer available thanks to a DMCA takedown request from Sony. Australia-based Twitch streamer Lance McDonald first developed the mod back in 2020 before making it available to download in 2021. Lance announced today in a post, this was a few days ago, that Sony Interactive Entertainment asked them to remove the links for the patch. The hack's sole purpose was to get Bloodborne running at a smoother 60 FPS with improved frame pacing. From Software originally released Bloodborne back in 2015 for the PS4, and the game has always been locked at 30 FPS with the occasional stuttering from inconsistent pacing. The 30 frames within each second were not always on screen for equal amounts of time. The beloved game's graphical limitations have persisted even on the PS4 Pro and while playing it via backwards compatibility on the PS5. Lance's mod received its share of testing and praise from the Soulsborne community that covet From Software games but wish their technical and graphical chops were more cutting edge. This includes being spotlighted by creators like Digital Foundry, who interviewed McDonald about his hack back in 2020, etc., etc. Basically, here we have a mod that was made nearly 5 years ago. Well, it was made about 5 years ago. Has been available for distribution for many years. Many people have known about it for many years. Sony has all but definitely known about it for years. And just now, they're asking them to take it down. Brandon, what do you think of this? And what do you think of Bloodborne in general? What? Oh, sorry, Dave, you can go if you have something.
You're up.
I have a theory.
Okay.
The 10-year anniversary of Bloodborne.
Is it a copium theory?
We have.
Yes.
I don't even care about Bloodborne, but
wait. The Bloodborne PSX demake was just DMCA'd right now too. Those are a lot of words together that I know what they each individually mean. I'm assuming this is some other Bloodborne hack, ROM, whatever.
I think, isn't that where they redid the whole game in like PS1 graphics?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't. Yeah. Okay, Dave, go ahead.
We have a state of play coming next week or the week after. I think we're gonna hear about a remake of Bloodborne, because, like, as you mentioned, Ben, why would they just suddenly care about it now? So yeah, that's my theory. I don't think we're gonna get a remaster, but I think Sony is gonna do us a solid and give us a remake. And Bluepoint did Demon Souls, and they working on something that was just canceled, or it was rumored to be canceled.
Yes.
So
it was
I wonder
the God of War live service game.
Right.
I believe.
So I wonder if they have been working on Bloodborne and that was the next thing they were going to move to. But anyways, that's my pie in the sky copium thing. But yeah, I do want to say shout out to Sony for not taking legal action on this guy, but just nicely asking him to take it down. Because, we've seen the way Nintendo treats people by publicly killing them. So yeah, I don't know. That's my rumor, or my conspiracy theory here.
Yeah.
Tom says only two possibilities. Sony wants to do something with the Bloodborne IP, or corporations and their legal teams are slow to pick up on stuff. Well, Tom, I can assure you that corporations and their legal teams, at least when it comes to telling people not to infringe on their stuff, are not slow to pick up on stuff. They look at those filings every hour. So if your only two possibilities is true, then it's the other one. Sailor says, I thought they only DMCA'd the name of the patch. I don't know if you mean specifically the demake or the 60 FPS patch, but they asked them to take it down for sure. Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, I can only assume this means we're getting something. I don't see any good reason, and I don't want to be copium because it's literally a meme at this point that it's never happening. But I find it highly suspicious that of all the times for them to take it down, it would be now. I agree with what you just said, Ben, and I think that if they really wanted to, if they really cared and there wasn't a reason, it would have been down when it got published in the first place. Like, if they had never planned to do something, they could have just stopped it right away, but I feel like there is a very good reason they're doing this. So, I'm kind of hoping there's something coming. I guess that is a little bit of copium on my part as well. But, it's not Nintendo. We're not arresting old men yet. I don't know how old Lance McDonald is, so it would be less heinous of a crime if he was a young man for him to be arrested for this. But yeah, I guess we'll see, man. I hope so. I really, really hope so.
Yeah. I'd say it's likely that there's something, whether it's a remake, a remaster, or a sequel, something. But back to the point of who's going to make it. We know that Bluepoint was working on the God of War live service. which I like live service and I like God of War, but that just sounds awful to me.
It sounds so awful.
I don't
What
know.
is it? What could it be?
It's like
I don't
Jet
know.
Li in a rom-com. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's just fucking weird, dude.
Well, we'll never find out now, apparently. Or
Thank God.
if we do, it won't be by playing it. But anyway, it's not impossible they were working on two things, but I don't think Blue Point's that big. So it seems unlikely to me that it's Blue Point.
Well, if one is wrapping and one was just in early pre-production, that's
true.
possible.
Yeah,
I think.
that's true.
They literally could have been working on fucking Bloodborne since they got done with Demon Souls, realistically.
True.
And it's just so crazy to me that like these games are in development that long and they're kept under wraps in most cases for like 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah,
Just crazy.
it's true. So yeah, it's possible they're doing it, but I don't even know who else would do it, I guess is my point.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's other developers that aren't even owned by Sony that they could have hired to do it, and we would never guess them, but I don't know. Ed says not even triple digits at Blue Point. Yeah, I didn't think they were very big, which is even more of a testament to the quality of their work, in my opinion. Here's another one for you guys. I know you're all going to be really upset about this one. Multiversus is to shut down when Season 5 concludes in May. This comes from IGN. It says Player First Games has announced that Multiversus Season 5 will be its last, bringing the Warner Brothers platform fighting game to a close May 30th, 2025 at 9 a.m. Pacific time. The studio revealed plans to discontinue support for the crossover brawler with a blog post on its website. Multiversus, which launched May 28th of last year, 2024 that is, will launch into Season 5 starting next week, February 4th, and will continue through its May 2025 end date. It's at this point the support for online play will come to an end, with Player First promising that players will still be able to access all earned and purchased content while offline via the local gameplay mode and training mode. Guys, I haven't checked out Multiversus since the first time it came out, when they pretended that it had actually only been a beta and took it away for like a while and then brought it back and said, oh, that was just a beta. Here it is again. They never said that was a beta before they just shut it down. Okay. That's one of those like things that just everybody seems to forget, and it just bothers me. So I'm just going to repeat it one more time. It wasn't a beta. That was the game launch and it failed. So they pretended like it was a beta. Okay. Somebody clip that. That's my streamer impersonation. But it's done now. Brandon, you were, I think you played the most of this out of the three of us.
Yep.
What do you make of it? How do you feel? Are you sad? Are you sad you can't play as Scooby anymore?
No. I mean, I don't want to see this game go. And I guess it's not fully going, but I thought it was a fine game. I really think the problem with this game is the problem that I've said many times about it, is that they did what you just described. Now, could the same fate had happened at the same time if they wouldn't have went away? Yep, possibly, and even probably. But the point is I think a lot of the trajectory they did have was lost in the break, and I think a lot of people lost interest, including myself. I played before the game went away, and I maybe played it once after the game came back, literally once for like 20 minutes. All of the steam, all of the wind was out of the sails. So, David touched on it a little bit last week and a little bit in the Discord. Like, is this the type of game people want right now? I don't know. I thought it was a good game.
Did you guys talk about this last week on the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I think maybe he just talked about it in the Discord, I think is what I'm remembering. But yeah, I don't know. This isn't surprising to me at all. I was just waiting for this news to come. Yeah, I just feel bad for the people that dumped a lot of money into this game, because I know there are people. The fighting community is not the biggest community, and it's not even the most mainstream community by a long shot. But what I will tell you about the fighting community is they are fucking dedicated. They are one of those communities, it's like people that play fighting games, and I'm going to generalize them right now, because what I've found is that people that play fighting games play a couple different ones. They have their main one.
Not like RuneScape players.
Right. But yeah, this is just sad. It's sad, but it kind of was a reap what you sow type of scenario to me. So
Brandon, don't worry about those people who spend all that money. They can still access all their paid characters in the offline mode. Okay.
Oh wow.
All right, Dave. Multiversus.
Yeah,
How are you going to go pro at this point?
When this game relaunched, we looked at it. We said Warner Bros. Has a lot in their corner to kind of set this up to succeed. It's got a lot of great characters. It's got really cool sort of. It's got a way to kind of monetize and continually add new characters. Same with Marvel Rival. Like you can just constantly add new characters and new settings. And I thought Multiversus had that too. And we said like they could be successful if they listen to their fan base. And based on what I've read, they didn't do enough of that. There was lots of complaints about progression. There was complaints about the speed of the game. That evidently, those aren't skeletal pieces. Like those are things that can be addressed. And it seems like fans just weren't listened to, and they didn't pull enough people in. And here we are again. These free-to-play games have very short leashes, and they're very costly to maintain. But yeah, I mean, the other part of it too, and as Brandon alluded to, and what I said in the Discord is like, I do wonder if this genre is just too small for this kind of game. And like, I wonder how Gen Z is gravitating towards this kind of game. And Brandon, you mentioned fighting games, and is this really a fighting game? Like, I know it's a fighting game, but like, does it appeal to the people who are playing Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, or is this something else entirely? Because I think free-to-play games and games as a service have to appeal to Gen Z, and if they don't, you're going to fail. So I don't know. I do look at this genre, and I do wonder if it's big enough, or if it's just kind of a nostalgia thing with Smash. And somebody in the Discord mentioned Battle Royale. It's the same thing where is that only big enough for Fortnite? And obviously Apex had its day and Warzone had its day, but they're fading. So yeah, it could be a case of that too. In any case, I did play a little bit of Multiversus and I had a lot of fun with it, but I'm just not interested in the genre. So I don't know. If you choose to download these games and buy stuff, just know that you're taking a risk. This is
You mentioned
a reminder of that.
You mentioned not being Gen Z enough, maybe. I think it didn't have enough of the broccoli haircuts. You guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think is that what they call it? The broccoli haircut?
Yeah,
not enough skibbity toilets.
Not
They got to
enough-
give Shaggy a broccoli haircut
dude.
for
Not
the
enough of
Zoomers to like it.
Hatsani Miku. Not enough
Uh-huh.
of that. Not enough
Yeah.
of Miku Miku.
Yeah. Well, that's that. Goodbye, Multiversus.
Good
We barely knew you. For what it's worth, I didn't really comment. I enjoyed it when I played it in the beta. That wasn't a real beta, by the way. Just in case anybody forgot what I said earlier. I did enjoy it, but I like fighting games, but I like them very casually. So I'm like Dave in that it wasn't really for me, but I thought it was cool. But it was such a weird mix of characters, that's for sure. But it seems like somebody mentioned, was it Nick, the Nick game, All-Star Brawl? It seems like that's one of those games where they just were like, oh, we have access to these assets. Let's hurry up and make like a quick million or two. Flip it real quick, and then it's okay if it dies. Like, I don't think people are expecting these games to live forever, but I think they expected Multiversus to last for longer than it did, for sure. Oh, wait, here. I just don't think anyone owns enough IP that can match up the Smash or are going to utilize them as effectively as Smash does. That's a good point, Ed. Nintendo has access to whatever they want because they have a big pocketbook and a big roster themselves. So, next story, Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation. According to ESPN.com, over 3 years after developer Playground Games launched the game, the studio, which is working with Panic Button and Turn 10 Studios on the PS5 port, made the announcement in a blog post last Thursday, but stopped short of giving a specific release date beyond spring 2025. They're also going to be working on a free update for Forza Horizon 5 owners on all platforms called Horizon Realms. It also doesn't have a release date, but it will include a curated selection of evolving worlds, Playground's name for seasonal objectives, such as smashing Christmas trees or New Year's lanterns in the open world while driving a specific car, etc., etc. Dave, You're the I don't know. I was gonna say you're the racing guy, but so is Brandon. So, what do you think, Dave, about another Xbox first party game coming to PlayStation?
Console war be damned. I am thrilled that more people are going to get to enjoy this game because it is. I love everything Forza Horizon. The games are just so much fun. And while Forza Horizon 5 wasn't my favorite, I still may actually purchase this game again and play it again on PlayStation and get trophies and stuff. Forza Horizon 2 was my favorite. That was the one that was set in south of France and Italy. And when I was reading the story before we started the show, I had to go back and find the raw gameplay clip on YouTube of the Train in Vain mission. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it's where you're racing a train in a Lancia Fulvia and Train in Vain by The Clash is playing. And it's one of these gaming moments that is just burned in my mind. And I know it's kind of a scripted race, but I will never forget the first time I did that race and like Train in Vain is blaring and like it's like super close and like the end of the race, like they just kind of scripted it in such a perfect way where like I'm watching, I switch my view to see the train up beside me and it's just like neck and neck and I just won the race. And it's just like, it was one of the coolest moments. And there were so many moments like that in Forza Horizon 2 and Forza Horizon in general. So yeah, I'm thrilled that more people are going to be able to play this game. My buddy Duncan, who doesn't have an Xbox, I hope he tries this game. Yeah, it's I don't care about the console war shit. This is good because this is such a fun game. If you haven't played Forza Horizon because you don't have an Xbox, you really need to play it. It's probably going to run better on PS5. Well, it will for me because I played on a Series S, but yeah, just play this game. Play this damn game.
Brandon.
Yeah, I'm a huge Forza fan too. I played 2, 3, a little bit of 4, and all of 5. 3 was my absolute favorite. I loved 3. I played the shit out of 3. Finished both 3 and 5. And is easily my most played game on my Series X. It looks and runs beautifully, and I think the PlayStation port will be no different. I'm right there with Dave. I think that more people experiencing this game is really what I want because I love the game so much and I love the series so much. I think this will continue the series in a right direction. Just pump money into it and continue to add intrigue to it generally. I was talking to one of my buddies about it, and he said something about Xbox trying to get in on Sony's first party car games, and I didn't necessarily agree with that. I don't think Polyphony is worried at all about this. I think that the people that play these types of games, Horizon games, and people that play more of a sim type of game like Gran Turismo, aren't always the same people. I think that Horizon has a much broader appeal than GT ever will. And that's just kind of the way that they've set themselves up for. So, yeah, I don't know. I am almost tempted to buy it again as well. We'll see. I don't know that I want to spend full price, but I know I'll get the hours out of it, so maybe I will.
Yeah, I played a lot of it on PC through the Xbox app, but great game. For sure, great game. And I think it's good for not only Microsoft's business model, but also just for gamers to have access to more games. I will always think that. And I'm imagining it's going to be at least $40, if not a $60 game, because it's probably still $60 on Xbox.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was 60.
Yeah. Man, with as many PlayStation wheel owners as there are, I'm sure they're going to sell lots of copies to enthusiasts, but also just to, regular everyday folk. There was one other thing I was going to say, and I've lost it.
It's already on the store, but it doesn't have a price yet.
Okay. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's full price, 60. I think it came out at 60 on Xbox. So, oh well, I don't remember what I was going to say, so it doesn't matter. The most discouraging news of the night somehow was not about the layoffs. This is from GamesIndustry.biz. It says Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has become the second highest grossing video game movie of all time, second only to the Super Mario Brothers movie at $1.26 billion. The third Sonic the Hedgehog movie has earned $462 million worldwide, cementing itself as one of the world's most video game movies ever. By comparison, Detective Pikachu grossed $450 million, while Warcraft secured $439 million. Rampage, Uncharted, and the second Sonic the Hedgehog movie grossed $428, $407, and $405 million, respectively. Guys, I haven't seen Sonic 3. I did see Sonic 1 and 2. They were fine. But this tells me less about the Sonic franchise, because I think Sonic's always been at least somewhat popular, or it's a game people play. It tells me less about the Sonic franchise, though, than it does about video game movies in general. Because it took the world's most recognizable video game character, Mario, to break $1 billion at the box office. Pikachu couldn't even crack $500 million. Pikachu. But Sonic did? Go off, Brandon.
Yeah, I don't know. Today's kids are fucking weird.
Got their broccoli haircuts.
They're fucking weird, man. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of movies have been doing bad generally. I feel like film sales have been down, but kids' movies have made a lot of money. I think that's kind of a huge market right now, and so I think if you can make a video game movie that also appeals to children, somebody pull up the Mortal Kombat movie, how much they made. Kids aren't watching that shit. I thought it was a great movie. I don't know if it was, commercially successful, but I think something to note is that it's very kid friendly, and I think that's kind of a testament to its popularity, is its availability to children. So, I'm a notorious Sonic hater. I hate to see him win. I really do, for any reason. I do like Jim Carrey, though, and I know he's a part of this, and so is Keanu Reeves. So I guess by default, I want this one to succeed specifically, just for those two reasons, those two gentlemen. But
pretty sure this is Keanu Reeves' most highest grossing movie now, over The Matrix and John Wick.
Yeah, it's disgusting. So,
Ed mentions Mario alone has made more money than all three Sonic movies combined. Fair point. Ed Walton says, don't forget Mario movie did it right after the pandemic. Didn't the Mario movie come out like less than a year ago? I don't know if I call that right after the pandemic. That was like 3 years after the pandemic, but whatever, I guess.
Idris Elba as well. We cannot forget our boy Idris.
Yeah. But,
DJ and legend.
Great. Idris is amazing. But when you say it made more money than The Matrix or John Wick, that's where it hurts.
It's the children, dude. I'm telling you, it's the children.
It's that kid money. I talk about that kid money all the time.
Speaking of John Wick, have you guys seen those YouTube videos where it's like somebody reacts? I didn't know they did them for movies, but like I've seen like Navy SEALs react to like the Battlefield 3 mission on the aircraft carrier. They watched the thing, and it was a video like that, but it was two lawyers reacting to John Wick. It was like a shooting scene. It was like, no, you can't do that. That's illegal. You can't do that.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah, I have to agree that list of video game movies is not the there aren't a lot of heavy hitters there. From an IP perspective, there is, like Pikachu, Rampage, maybe not that so much. But
I knew about that Rampage movie. I didn't even know it was based on the video game.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but I mean the good thing here is that the next generation is not turning a blind eye to Sonic, and they're hopefully they're not just focused on Minecraft, but they like the good stuff too, you know. We talked about the Clash or a little bit earlier, so they're listening to like the trap music, but they're also listening to a little bit of Clash. So this is good stuff. Let's just hope they're playing the games too, not just the newer Sonic games, but the old ones. And I'm talking about the shitty ones and the good ones, because yeah, Sonic, we all grew up on Sonic, right? So yeah, it's good that the kids are loving the Blue Hedgehog.
I have fond memories of playing Sonic for sure. I haven't played anything any of the newer games in years and years and years. But the original ones for the Genesis, my buddy Todd's house, we would play Sonic and Sonic 2 for like, I swear, it feels like we played like 12 hours at a time, passing the controller back and forth. But in retrospect, that was a very long time ago, and it was probably like 30 minutes, but it felt like 12 hours in my memory. Let's talk about what we've been playing. I'll go first because it's easy. I was gone all this last week, literally 8 or 9 days since the last time I've been here. The only thing really of note that I've been playing is Rivals and Hunt Showdown. Other than that, played a little bit of Satisfactory here and there, but I haven't done anything spectacularly interesting to talk about in them. So that's all I got. Brandon, this one's out of character for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I checked out a little game called The Stanley Parable this week, guys. So I didn't really know much about this game. I had heard people talk about it, and I just wanted to try it out. I was kind of in between a couple things, and I wanted a nice little condensed experience. But I didn't realize there's no saving in this game. So I've technically not started it at all because I quit, and I'm now back at the beginning. So I'm going to start playing Stanley Parable again at some point. But this game's really awesome. Kind of the play on the illusion of choice in video games. It reminds me a lot of a game I played that was actually probably very heavily inspired by this game. Oh, for God's sakes, I can't remember it right now. But this game is definitely pretty interesting. It gives me vibes of like the narrator in Portal as well. Superluminal is the game.
Superluminal, right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I love it. I see the direct inspiration Superluminal played from games like this, and I've only played a couple, but I really enjoy them, and I think it's kind of a fun little experience. Maybe not for everybody, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. I don't have anything profound to even say about it other than it's an interesting video game that kind of plays with the idea of a video game. So
nice. Davey, what about you?
Well, boys, Platty's popping, panties popping. Let's go.
Shit.
I don't know if Poot's listening, but you can scratch one resolution off the list. How many resolutions have you guys done so far? February 4th, 2025? Any? No?
I've done half of 2 of them.
Half of 2 of them. Okay, if you add that up, that's 1, but still doesn't count. Brandon, you got anything?
I played less than an hour of one of them.
Okay, well, that's something.
Have you streamed in 2 weeks, Brandon?
No.
It's going to be hard to hit affiliate.
Yeah, Borderlands 3 Platinum is in the bag. I just came off the Hogwarts Legacy Platinum, which was ass. I would give that like a 5.5 out of 10 as a Platinum, not the game, the Platinum. Borderlands 3 is a solid 8. And the reason why it was so fun and I enjoyed it is because everything came so organically. So the big things that I had left to do were finish up all of the side missions, find all name locations, finish all the crew challenges, finish the Circles of Slaughter, and one miscellaneous trophy. Now the big ones there were the collectibles and the name locations and the side missions. But what I did was focus on the side missions, and everything just kind of happened around that. So when I did a side mission, it would take me to a new area that would knock off a name location. And when I went to that location, a bunch of the crew challenge collectibles came up on screen, so it could boom, 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 do all that. So it was just a nice, easy cycle. There was no grinding. It was just fun, you know? So yeah, it's in the Circles of Slaughter. I left that for last, which was end game stuff. So it was just like, I'm going to leave the hardest stuff for last. And it was just pure Borderlands insanity. And all the Circles of Slaughter missions are given by Mr. Torg, who's my favorite character in Borderlands because he just screams at you and plays air guitar in your ear and stuff. So yeah, I friggin' love Borderlands. And the other reason I wanted to do this, guys, is I wanted to get excited for Borderlands 4, and I'm so excited now for Borderlands 4, which is coming out later this year. So yeah, Borderlands 3 Platinum's in the book. I have 10 Platinums now, and I'm glad that Borderlands was the 10th. So I'm happy.
Are you sad that you couldn't play it higher than 30 FPS?
Yeah, kind of. Because when I did install the PS5 version, like I jumped in really quickly to see if it worked and got a taste of it at 60 FPS. I also played Tiny Tina's Wonderlands last year in 60 FPS, so yeah, going down was an adjustment at first, but after a while I kind of forgot about it. So, yeah.
Nice.
But it'll make Borderlands 4 feel that much better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
There we go.
I think that's all we got for the week.
That's it. The Fabled Short Show.
This is actually the Fabled Short Show.
It happened. Holy shit.
Once again, don't forget, you can join us over at Discord, handsomephantom.com/Discord, where people are literally chatting during the show. You can't make this up. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/handsomephantom for as little as $1 a month. We appreciate having you there. Boys, we need a name for the show, I guess. Guys, I have to tell the live audience or the audience here. The audience here. Next to what we've been playing, next to my name, someone has written. So we have Ben, Brandon, Dave, and then 1 week we had Phil, and we have next to Phil's name it says dead again because he's not here. Next to my name, someone has written dead, also gay.
Man, why would you write that?
I didn't.
GEH?
Nope. It's just the regular way. I'm neither of those things.
Cannot.
But I appreciate that someone filled it out for me. Thank you.
Well, why?
What are we naming this show?
I'm telling you, dude, Bloodboned.
Yeah, Blood Bones.
Yeah,
It's
let's do it.
that Bones Lance of his mod.
I didn't even hear you say that, so.
Shaunachu.
Sonichu returns. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. I hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you here next time. Goodbye.